You are Locked On Red Sox POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, Tanner Houck picked up a victory, his first in a long time. Red Sox have themselves a win streak. The Sox take the opener in Toronto, beating the Blue Jays 4-1 in the series opener Monday night at Rogers Center. With that, we welcome you to our latest Locked On Red Sox postcast. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime play-by-play announcer, MLB on ESPN Radio, college baseball on the ESPN networks, Longhorn Network, ACC Network, SEC Network, 10 years in the minors, national show host on ESPN Radio and satellite radio, and a guy with a dangerous amount of useless baseball information. We are providing reaction every Red Sox game on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, as well as the Locked On Red Sox podcast feed, which you know is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. On our latest Locked On Red Sox postcast, we're going to discuss, well, I'm going to nitpick just a bit, even though the Sox do pick up a win north of the border. Would have loved to have seen more runs, would have loved to have seen a shutout. Plus, how do you best sum up the Blue Jays as they wrap up? They've been playing out the stretch for quite a while. I've got a word. How about brutal? Is their manager going to get the axe next week? He might. We want to hear from you, our everydayers and our first-timers. Join the conversation, watching live on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Hit the comment button and join the Sox conversation. You can hit me up on the X. Subscribe to the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel while you're there. Hit me on the X. Follow me on the X at Lennox on Baseball with questions, comments, or concerns. Our latest Locked On Red Sox postcast brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah, the right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. Booking.com, Booking.yeah. So the Red Sox pick up the victory and move to a game above 500 now with 5 games to go in the regular season. Sox are perfect 4-0 this season at the Rogers Center with the 4-1 victory against the Blue Jays on Monday night. Tanner Houck, the story. Sox have won 3 in a row. They've matched their longest win streak since the All-Star break by winning 2 on Sunday at home at Fenway against the Minnesota Twins and winning the opener against the Blue Jays on Monday night. At no point since the All-Star break have the Red Sox won 4 straight games. They can do that with a victory against the Blue Jays, who have packed their bags and are ready to go home. Let's just leave it right there, right? Red Sox pick up a victory on Tuesday. They clinch the series against the Blue Jays. They go to 5-0 in Toronto this season, and they play against a team that really, I mean, what series haven't against the Blue Jays this year where you have not been scratching your head as to how they do certain things? Now, they've got some young talent. What do they do with Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? Who knows? Free agent, I believe, after the 25 season. But come on. I mean, they're playing out the stretch. They're doing things on the bases. They're doing things. Bassitt, career high in walks. Not a lot of strikeouts for Red Sox hitters. And that's to the point of, 10 walks, 4 strikeouts. You'll take that because the Red Sox have struck out way too much in recent weeks and recent months, and they haven't walked enough. Well, 4 runs, was waiting for that big hit to break it open. Didn't get it, but that's okay. You win the game. But Tanner Houck was terrific, right? He really was. Terrific against a lineup that was aggressive early in the count. But Houck did his job, and these are tough games to pitch in right now. And I give the Blue Jay fans credit because they showed up and, they cheered in the 9th inning when they finally broke across and got a run against Chris Martin. But Houck, 1, 2, 3, bottom of the first inning, retired the side in order on 6 pitches. In the second, took the lead with the mound for the first time. Retired Horwitz, Kirk, and Barger on 12 pitches, had 18 pitches and retired 6 in a row, 6 up, 6 down through the first 2 innings on 18 pitches. Did not allow a base runner until the 5th inning with 2 outs. Barger walked on 5 pitches, Clement singled, Clase line to center, and that was it. And that was it for Tanner Houck. 5 innings, under 60 pitches, and that's probably, if he's fine tomorrow and Wednesday, he goes in the series finale, the regular season finale at Fenway Park on Sunday against the Tampa Bay Rays. Again, if you're going to pitch him Sunday, I said it on next Sunday. I said it after the doubleheader sweep against the Twins just yesterday on Sunday. If you're going to pitch him in the finale, Let him go 5. Right? Let him go 5. But Tanner Houck picks up his first win in forever. And I didn't realize this, and I had it, but, Houck has gone a long time. He's given up just 11 home runs this entire season. 3 of those 11 home runs in one start at home at Fenway against the Padres back in late June. But the Red Sox are now 16-14 in his 30 starts this season. I'm not even going to save Houck's numbers for numbers of the night in our third segment. Houck, before the All-Star break, and he was an All-Star this year, the team was 13-6 in his first 19 starts. After the break, the club now 3-8. Houck had a record of 0-4 since the All-Star break and pitching in the All-Star game in Arlington, Texas. 0-4 in those outings, and a lot of no decisions. And the reason I wanted them to add on after they got the 3-0 lead with single runs in each in the second, third, and fourth innings against Bassitt, I didn't want to see Houck come out of the game, and then all of a sudden the bullpen loses the lead, or the Blue Jays come back and tie the game up, and Houck ends up with a no decision. There's been a lot of starts in the second half, or I should say since the All-Star break, where Houck is left. Might have been a 1-run lead, or a couple of runs. The bullpen's given it up. So Houck 5 innings. The bullpen takes care of the rest. I would have liked to have seen the shutout. It would have been the 14th of the season. I had it written up in the game story. Delete, select all, delete, gone. Chris Martin gave up a couple of singles, gave up a run. Blue Jays spoil the shutout bid, but Martin comes back, gets the ground ball double play to end the ball game. But Tanner Houck, outstanding. Terrific. And again, the Red Sox walking a whole bunch, but more importantly, just putting the ball in play. 10 walks total. Tristan Casas, the word's out, right? Twins wanted nothing to do with him in Game 2 of the doubleheader on Sunday after he hit 3 home runs and knocked in 7 runs in Game 1 in a lopsided victory. And then Casas really didn't see a whole heck of a lot of pitches to do anything with. Goes over 2, walks 3 times, and he scored a run. The Red Sox had another opportunity with the bases loaded and failed to hit the ball to the ballpark. I say this tongue-in-cheek, but we count everything in baseball, and I finally found it on Baseball Reference. And, 107 opportunities now this season with the bases loaded. It was Nick Sogard coming to plate with the bases full. Where'd Sogard do that? Did in the 5th inning and ended up hitting into an inning-ending double play, and the Sox left 2 runners on base. But you take it and you run with it. And I say that a lot. But a game over 500, finish strong. Opened up, maybe. It doesn't matter that you opened up eyes outside of the clubhouse, the manager, Alex Cora, and his coaching staff. Finish strong. That's what you do right now. You win this series. You win the final series. First NESN reference because Dave O'Brien said it on the broadcast. Go 4-2. Take 2 out of 3. Take 2 out of 3. Go 4-2 against the Blue Jays and Rays to wrap up the regular season this week. And you finish over 500. There's something to be said about that. But also a common theme on social media, Dave O'Brien, Kevin Youkilis, on the broadcast Monday night from the Rogers Center in Toronto. The Red Sox really have to close out this season knowing, and I said it weeks ago, because they were teetering on that line of, hey, you've got everything in front of you. If you win more than you lose, if you win the series going forward, you sweep one, go back to the White Sox series at Fenway, where they did not complete the series sweep. But you had control. You didn't have to rely on anybody else. Then they crossed that line and then went way past that line where the line was a blur, right? And then all of a sudden, well, you need this team to lose. Well, now you need, the Tigers have jumped in front of you. Now you need the Tigers and the Twins to lose. Oh, now the Mariners are in front of you too. And you needed too many scenarios. It's still there. You can scoreboard watch if you want. Only 4 games on the big league schedule on the final Monday of the regular season. But those teams are in front of you right now, with the Royals struggling. I think Kevin Youkilis alluded to that. But you fall short. Again, with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, hit the comment button. We're going to do that right now. Shooting smoke with us. Houck had a great outing. Yes, he did. And Houck next year, as your number 2 or your number 3 starter, depending on what you do. Giolito, I've touched on him recently where, hey, if he's not ready until late April, early May, that's fine. That's okay. But if you get a Burns in free agency or go out and make a big splash in the trade market, and pick up a frontline starting pitcher. I don't even know what the definition of a frontline starting pitcher is anymore. To me, it's all about developing your own pitching. And you have to give Craig Breslow and the organization time to develop arms in the system. They've got some young, talented Latin American pitchers that are moving up the ladder. They drafted heavy after the first round this year with pitchers. How do you develop those guys, get them up the ladder, and get them to the big leagues? Shooting Smoke also chiming in with, you had the right idea on the triple by Duran. Just keep going and make them throw you out. Absolutely. I can't disagree with that. Duran, his first triple in forever. Duran and his 2 extra base hits, part of Numbers of the Night coming up in our third segment. But Shooting Smoke is referring to Duran with the triple. He had a double earlier in the game. And Duran's hustle double in the 4th inning. That was one of those plays by the Blue Jays. They were on George Springer early on. Springer, throwing behind a base runner. Abreu with the RBI double. May have had a shot at him at second. Instead, you throw to the cutoff man. And Springer on that double by Jarren Duran. We haven't seen a lot of those lately, but you can't be caught napping when Duran puts the ball in the play in the outfield because he's thinking 2 out of the box. He gives himself that opportunity. But Duran, the triple, hit the ball well. Clase went back at it on the wall, didn't get it, and you knew, the camera had it beautifully. Clase chasing, Duran booking, just, around second going for third. Then there was a bobble. If he had been sent by Kyle Hudson at third, it probably would have been close. Make them make a play, I agree. Maybe that happens a month ago. Now, 6 games to play, 5 games to play after the 4-1 victory. Put the stop sign on, and you go from there to a certain degree. So, it would have been neat to see an inside the park home run, but I think Kyle Hudson would have had to been windmilling the arm around earlier. He had put the stop sign up. Duran had put the brakes on. He eased up a little bit, got in the third, came to a stop. And it probably, if he did score on that, Shooting Smoke, if you're the official scorer, don't you go triple and an error? Because he pretty much came to a full stop at third base. I was thinking the same thing. I love that Kevin Youkilis, and I think even Youkilis during the call with Dave O'Brien was basically like, go, go. And, kind of cheering him on and rooting him on at that point in time. How about Sogard? Yeah. Shooting Smoke, what is Nick Sogard for you in the future? One thing he's doing, and he's done it, and Hamilton did it. And you haven't heard anything about Hamilton, but really Hamilton was probably only coming back in a pinch running role after fracturing his finger on a bunt attempt at Fenway Park weeks ago now. Those guys have shown value, not only for you at the big league level, possibility of adding on to make a trade this offseason into a bigger trade. Right now, if teams are looking at Nick Sogard, they're like, wow, how do we try to put him in a deal? I think the Red Sox certainly know what they had in Nick Sogard. That's why York could go to Pittsburgh for Quinn Priester, a pitcher, right? The Red Sox have a lot of these guys. You've got to figure out the 2 or 3 guys you're going to use. I don't know that Sogard can play a corner outfield position. I don't know that he really needs to. It would be an emergency situation. But he can play second. He can play third. He can play short. But you can move him around. He wants to see himself as an everyday big leaguer. Do you want to be a utility guy on a team that has a chance to go to the League Championship Series and to the World Series as the Red Sox are trying to build towards that? Or do you want to go to an Oakland A's team or a Chicago White Sox team? You could see Sogard, if it's 3 for 1, 4 for 1, Sogard could be part of a package for Garrett Crochet. But then do you want to go to the White Sox and you're probably going to lose 100 games again next year and then 90 plus in 2026? So the Red Sox know what they have in Sogard. Teams calling to talk trades with the Red Sox during the offseason, I bet you his name is mentioned a whole lot. But Shooting Smoke, I'm right there with you. Like him a lot. And so, Shooting Smoke, I take you at your word, and I value it. But when Merloni and Youkilis are saying this guy's something, they're basically petitioning for the Red Sox to keep Nick Sogard. But he's come up. He's done a nice job for him. Shoot and smoke one more. One of those guys. Yeah, Hamilton, Sogard. Those guys are first-tier team type players. Those are guys who help you get to the World Series. The Red Sox have shown they need those guys. If you had to pick between Nick Sogard and Romy Gonzalez, hit me on the Twitter if you're on the podcast with our first listen on Tuesday morning. If it's Nick Sogard or Romy Gonzalez for 2025, which one are you taking? Because they both bring a lot to the table. Sogard's younger. Gonzalez is gold because, hey, the 120-loss White Sox gave up on him at one point. Shoot and smoke, always a pleasure. Again, you want to join us? If you're with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, hit the comment button and join our Sox conversation. We're going to peek into the future a little bit with the bullpen guys. That's coming up, plus our at-bat of the night in segment number 2, right here on the Locked On Red Sox postcast. Sox pick up the victory against the Blue Jays in Toronto. They've now won 3 in a row over the last, 2 days? Locked On Red Sox postcast, Locked On Sports Boston, your team every day, brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. Explore those U.S. cities you have always secretly wanted to learn more about, with hotels, bed and breakfasts, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com. You might just find your perfect stay even in your baseball rival city during the upcoming postseason. Maybe it's time to taste test your baseball competition stadium cuisine. Luckily, on Booking.com, you can find the stadium stay that is just right for you. With Booking.com's wide variety of choices across the United States, you can go incognito to all your baseball rival cities. Booking.com delivers exactly the right U.S. stay for you. Booking.com can help you book a stay that's close to your home team's or rival stadium. No matter what team you are rooting for this postseason, Booking.com can make you a fan of any U.S. city. From hotels that look over stadiums to family-friendly resorts to cute bed and breakfast stays, Booking.com has so many choices right across the U.S. of A. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rivals. Booking.com, Booking.yeah. So we get into Kenley Jansen. Devers shut down over the weekend. Jansen officially shut down on Monday with that Chase Sugar up to the big leagues. And I'd like to see Chase Sugar pitch a couple of times here in the final week. We saw Zach Penrod out of the bullpen. Want to see Guerrero out of the bullpen. Penrod, Guerrero, able to get the final out, 3 outs in the 7th. Weissert made things a little bit dicey, but Weissert also got a double play. As he worked the 6th inning, gave up a couple of base hits and worked just 1 inning and threw only 11 pitches over his 1 inning of work. Penrod, Guerrero worked the 7th inning, but Weissert, Penrod, Guerrero, those are guys for you with the bullpen. And on the NESN broadcast, they put up a graphic of guys who you have under control and the free agents. Chris Martin, does he have 1 more year? If Chris Martin is going to pitch in 2025, I think you can bring him back. And that is not going to blow your budget for the 2025 season. Chris Martin, do you want to pitch next year? Well, I need to go home and think about it. Okay, but we want to be your number 1 choice. We'd like to have you back. Why do you want to bring Chris Martin back, you may ask? Well, I want to bring him back for a veteran presence. You have Hendricks and Chris Martin next year in that bullpen. I'm not saying either one's going to be the closer. Maybe it is Hendricks. But who is your closer of the future? Again, thoughts on Kenley in our 3rd segment with numbers of the night. But Justin Slayton's name is being mentioned. Certainly deserving of consideration after the season he's had. And for the Red Sox people who said in the Rule 5, hey, Slayton, it might be our guy. Let's see if we can get Slayton. They hit on that one. Now, can he put it back to back years, his first 2 years in the big leagues? Is he going to have to add something? Is he going to have to make adjustments? He's going to have to make adjustments. But the pitches that he has, Slayton could be your guy, at least at the start of the next season. It's got to be open to discussion. I will get into Kenley. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him back next year. He's got those numbers where he's chasing certain numbers as a closer. If he can pass Lee Smith, if somehow he gets to 500 saves, you're talking Hall of Famer. And with 2 years of Kenley Jansen, again, I'm going down that road. I want to do that in the third segment. I'll save that. At bat of the night. It's a tough one. I was hoping there was going to be an at bat of the night in there, but you know what? Rafaela ground out, picking up RBIs in the fourth and eighth innings and adding on to the lead. Wilyer Abreu, RBI double in the third that scored Tristan Casas. I'll go Wilyer Abreu in the third inning. I know it was early on, but Abreu turned a 1-0 lead into a 2-0 lead. Red Sox led 4-0 going to the bottom of the ninth inning. Horwitz with a single against Martin. 4-1 the final as Martin got the double play to end the ball game. So Wilyer Abreu, by the way, we're not keeping track of this, but Wilyer Abreu gets my at-bat of the night. Thoughts on Kenley, numbers of the night for Tanner Houck and for Jarren Duran. And the Red Sox have a streak going for their pitching staff that is a season high. Hit on that as well. That's next. Locked On Red Sox Postcast. Presented by Prize Picks. Yes, indeed. Locked On Sports Boston, your team every day. Hey, Prize Picks, you know. America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, Prize Picks, just simple, you against the numbers. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of Prize Picks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Turn your $10 into $1,000. Sign up today and bang, get $50 instantly with a bonus when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It is yours guaranteed. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks invented the Flex Pay, which means you can still cash out if your lineup is not perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB and get that $50 bonus instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks, run your game. So Kenley Jansen shut down. And I think Jansen, for 2 years with the Red Sox, he did an awful lot of good. And I think, to finish my thought, as I stop myself from going down the road in segment number 2 and do it here, if Kenley Jansen wanted to come back and you thought the numbers worked, you bring Kenley Jansen back next year. Again, closer role, he wants to close. If he's going to continue pitching next year, the year after, he's probably going to need 2 seasons to get to 50 saves. He should have gotten 30 this year, shut him down a couple of times, understandably so. And there were some times where, again, it's one of those things I'd love to have answered, but there were stretches where Jansen didn't pitch 4 or 5 games, and you knew he was available, but they just didn't use him. Used him the other day, maybe he knew. Used him in game 1 on Sunday. Maybe he knew this is it. Going to shut me down on Sunday, or going to shut me down after today. And I won't pitch in the final week of the regular season. But there's a lot to like about Kenley Jansen. And I know, again, he's going to want to close out games. But again, Nesson reference, Dave O'Brien, Kevin Youkilis, they basically said it never ends well. They brought Dennis Eckersley up. Never ends well for a reliever. Never ends well for a closer. And they brought up the name Craig Kimbrell this year. Kimbrell recently designated for assignment by the Orioles. The Orioles gave him opportunities, and I just don't want to see that over the next 2 years for Kenley Jansen. You could think that he goes back to Los Angeles and to the Dodgers over the next 2 years, because even if they give him a 2-year deal at whatever number, if it doesn't work out, the Dodgers, we know, just cross off the pitcher and move on from him. Could you see possibly Kenley Jansen starting 2025 somewhere else and then coming back to the Red Sox? That's also a possibility to strengthen the bullpen. But again, any conversation with Kenley Jansen is not about, hey, we'd like you to be the 8th inning guy, because right now he wants to get closer to those Hall of Fame numbers. You can say borderline Hall of Famer. You could say future Hall of Famer. But if he passes Lee Smith and he gets to 500 career saves, then it becomes a no-brainer. If he retires 475, 465, he's probably going to have to wait a while. And he's probably going to have to wonder, am I ever going to get there? my thoughts on Kenley Jansen. A little excited here about numbers of the night. Again, with numbers of the night, always try to hit some from different angles. Even if I get something from the Red Sox game notes, and I didn't go there today. But, with the Red Sox numbers of the night, want to do this. Yeah, kept the ball in the ballpark again. Go figure. Red Sox did not give up a home run in the Twin Series in taking 2 out of 3 from Minnesota. It's the first time they've done that this year, where they did not give up a single home run in a series. And with Monday's 4-1 victory and the Blue Jays scoring their run in the bottom half of the ninth inning on an RBI single, Red Sox pitchers have now gone a season-high 6 straight games without allowing a home run. 6 straight games without allowing a home run. When you consider that they were not just giving up a home run every single game, but they were giving up multiple home runs every single game for a long stretch there, Red Sox have now gone 6 straight games without allowing a home run. Red Sox ERA for their starters, Houck went 5, so Red Sox starters over the last 27 games have gone 144 and a third innings and allowed 40 runs total, 40 earned runs total, 40 earned runs. So that ERA for the starters over the last 27 games, now closer to 2, was I think right around 2.25 coming into Houck's start on Monday night. And again, he went 5 scoreless and did not allow any base runner, until he gave up a walk and a single with 2 outs in the 5th inning. He went 5 and got the job done. Jarren Duran, how about the number 17 for Jarren Duran? By the way, Houck picking up his first win since a victory at home on July 11th in a 7-0 shutout victory against the Oakland A's. So Houck picking up his first win in quite a while. Cutter Crawford on Sunday worked into the 8th inning against the Twins, and he picked up his first win since August 13th as well. Jarren Duran, now 17 games this season with multiple extra base hits, double, triple, first triple in a long time. That came in the 6th inning. And Duran now 82 extra base hits on the year. That by far leads the club. 47 doubles. And the triple in the 6th inning, his 14th on the season. Again, the triple, the first in a really long time. But he now leads, there's a possibility where Duran leads the American League and in doubles and triples for the season. 14 triples now on the season. Again, I think he had gone 30-plus games from his 12th to his 13th triple. And then 30-plus games, almost 40 games, until Monday night when he picked up his 14th triple of the season. Shooting smoke, Kevin Youkilis. Both wanted to see Kyle Hudson wave him around for the possibility of an inside-the-park home run. So the Sox, 5 to go. Counting them down. Counting them down right now. 5 to go. Next Monday, we're going to be looking at the postseason, and the Red Sox are going to be on the outside looking in. And I say that knowing that if they ran the table, even if they ran the table right now, they need a lot to happen in front of them. So it's unrealistic to think they're playing past this Sunday against the Tampa Bay Rays. As always, we want to thank you for checking us out with the Locked On Red Sox postcast and the Locked On Red Sox postcast with the podcast with our everydayers and our first listen of the day as well. What's next? I'm looking forward to this one. Bayo with Jansen. Bayo went 8 innings in a shutout victory against the Blue Jays at Fenway a few weeks back. He's going up against Bowden Francis on Tuesday. Francis twice start before the start at Fenway Park, where he was terrific, tossing scoreless baseball and a shutout win. And then after that, at home, a week or 2 ago against the Mets, had a no-hitter into the 9th inning. Francisco Lindor broke up the no-hit bid, broke up the shutout with a home run. Mets ended up scoring 6 runs in that 9th inning and beating the Blue Jays. But Bowden Francis goes against Brian Bayo. I'm looking forward to that pitching matchup on Tuesday, pitching matchup on Wednesday for the finale in Toronto. It'll be Richard Fitz, who still has not given up an earned run, going up against Kevin Gausman. Again, was a little premature, but I always love doing it. Comment on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, comment section. Shoot and Smoke throwing it out there one more time. Shoot and Smoke, you have a good night. Always appreciate you checking in with us. Much, 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 much appreciated. So again, Bayo, Francis, tip our cap to you for checking us out with the latest Locked On Red Sox postcast. Our next one comes up within minutes of the last out of Game 2 of the 3-game series between the Sox and the Jays on Tuesday night. Sox win on Tuesday. They clinch the season series, and they also pick up their first 4-game win streak since the All-Star break. Again, we'll be on within minutes of the last out for Game 2 of the 3-game series Tuesday night with our latest Locked On Red Sox postcast. Tip of the cap to our sponsors, Booking.com, Booking.yeah, and Prize Picks. Locked On Sports Boston, number one place to hang out immediately after every game. Locked On Sports, your team, your Red Sox, every day.